So we have polymorphism. Okay, so what do you mean by polymorphism? What do you understand the term polymorphism? Basically,
Like many ways.
yeah, poly means many ways, right? So we can have the many ways. So in single, we can have the many ways. Say, for example, we have one method is there, M1 method. So this is one, and similarly, I have same method name or different parameters into A, comma, into B. Okay. Similarly, if I have M1 into A, comma, string name or into B. Okay, so this is nothing but a same method name having the different forms, right? So we have the different ways, because whenever if you have a WebDriver, right? So in the WebDriver, when you are going into the implicit wait, we have the different options like duration of seconds, hours, milliseconds, and long duration. So these all are the various forms we will get, right? So, but same method. Have you observed that whenever if you are using the implicit wait, when you go to the application, so you may have all those things, right? Say for example, here, suppose I will create one class. Okay, so yeah. See, normally when 1 minute, so here, if you have the WebDriver, right? WebDriver driver is equal to new Firefox. Okay, see now here when we have this driver, right? Driver dot manage dot timeouts. We have one math. Under the timeouts, we have implicit wait, right? See, when we have this implicit wait, this is the method. But when we are having this duration of timeouts, right? So we have this many ways. So implicit wait. So similarly, if I'll go with this duration dot, you may have the different options here. See, we have the same method name, but different arguments are there, right? So either you
Yes.
can go with milliseconds or long minutes or long nanos, long seconds, right? Or duration. So these all are the different ways, right? So this is nothing but a weight property. So this is a concept of polymorphism under the method of overloading. Okay, so that is what we can consider it as a method of overloading. So here you can use 20. So otherwise you can go with any different manner also. Here also if you go with thread dot sleep, right? Thread dot sleep. If you use this one, here you can use duration in milliseconds, this one, but here we won't get. Only in this implicit way you will get that different forms. Okay. So in this, that means that whenever we have same method name but different arguments, that we can call it as a method overloading. Okay. Say we are overloading the method. Say for example here, I have one class. I have one class test is there. Okay. So here I have public void Chennai. Okay. So this is one method. Okay. Assume that here we don't have any arguments passed, but here I have written one system dot out dot println. This is Chennai. Okay. But my what is meant by overloading? Suppose if I have one more method, is Java allow same method name? It
No,
won't allow the
no,
same method name, right?
no, it won't allow.
It won't allow same method name. But when you have the different arguments, because this time when compiler, right, compiler may not be able to check directly here when you are creating the object references, right? Through this arguments, it will identify the which method we need to call. Say for example, here, now I am going to create one class here. So how to create an object for this class test? Test T1 is equal to new test,
New
right?
test. Yeah.
See now here, when
T1
I am
dot
calling
Chennai.
T1 dot Chennai, right? See, when I am calling this, which is going to be execute, whether this is, suppose here, this is um, duplicate Chennai. So when I am having these two methods, which is going to execute, how the compiler is going to think about this, which is going to be execute, which program is going to execute. So here compiler have the confusion here, okay, because
Yes.
they can't consider both, right? See, both are the same method. And on which basis, either this or this, on what basis this program is going to execute, right? So here, when I'm using default, let's see what is going to happen here, whether it will execute or
It
it
will
will throw
show
an
error,
error.
no, sir, but it will,
Huh?
even though error is there, it will still run, no? Program.
Yeah, it will run because this is launching the browser because however we have not initiated, we are just initiated the browser, that's it. See here, by default, this is coming. This is Chennai, right? One
This is
first one is
Chennai.
coming.
Yes, sir.
But here also we have the same method name. But my intention is I want to get this. Okay. I don't want to print this one, but my intention is to print this one. This is duplicate Chennai. So in that case, there is a problem, right? So in order to avoid that, in Java programming language, same method name, it won't allow, okay? But with different arguments, then it is going to be allowed. Say for example, here, I'm going to create as a string name, okay? So here, Mm, mm. So this is capital S, right? See, now I have used this string name. What does it indicate? Suppose now if I want this statement, if I want to execute this statement, then when I'm calling the program, compiler will give you the options. So which one you have to call? Say T1 dot, whether you want to call Chennai or Chennai string name. Suppose if I use this Chennai string, this one, then I have to pass the string here. Say for example, some text or some string here. So in this case, this is going to be executable now. Okay, so now if I'll run this program, which is going to be executable?
The second one, second line.
Yeah, second one, because we have given the, we call this program, we call the second program. That is why we have the Chennai string name. So if I'll run this, now perfectly it will execute this. This is the duplicate Chennai, right? So similarly, if I want first one, then I can use the T1 dot Chennai. The moment when I use without parameters, it will ask the default one. If we have the parameters, it will execute the second one. Okay. So this is how we did, right? So during the subtraction multiplication method, what we did, we based on the reusable methods, we have created one class, right? Class test1. So here public void add method. What I will do here, I can write some statement. Okay. So here I can write this statement. This is add method. Okay, in this situation, what I will do, if I call this, then it will add this, right? But suppose if I have one more method is there. See here, I want to add some int a comma int b, and I have a statement int c is equal to a plus b. Okay, so here I can use the c value, right? So if this is the case, now if I pass the arguments, then it will execute this method. If I don't pass any method, then it will execute this statement, right? So when you are calling, so you can create the object for this test1. So test1 T2 is equal to new test1. So now if you can see here, okay, see now if I call here T2 dot add method. See, this is how the compiler is going to ask. So when you use this one, then if you pass the parameters, then it will execute the second method. If you do not pass any arguments or variable parameters, then it will consider the default method. Okay. So like this, it is going to be executed. So this is nothing but a method overloading. That means same method name, different arguments, but same return type also. Suppose if you are using a void, then you should have the same return type. It should not have any
Okay.
different also. Return type also must be the same. Okay. And this
Sir,
one.
signature and argument both are same. Method signature,
Method
argument.
signature. Yes, this is what we can discuss about the method signature, right? Same method name and different arguments.
Okay, so both are same only. Signature and
Mm-hmm.
argument.
Overloading, yeah. In method signature, see, we can call it as a method signature also because same method name and different arguments. Okay. and it won't consider this return type also here void. Okay, so here we have the void is there, right? So this won't be considered, only the arguments is the main important. Okay, so if whatever this is the default arguments, and this is the passing the arguments. Okay, so this is mainly considering with the help of arguments only. So you can give n number of arguments also here. Okay, suppose, but same arguments also it won't allow. Suppose if I use the same arguments, then system won't allow. See, here we have the int a comma b, same method name, same arguments. It won't accept. Similarly, even if I'll use c and d, see, even though if I give c and d, it is not accepting. Why? We have the same data types, right? So data type should
Okay.
not be the same. Okay, it has to be a different one. Either you can use byte C or anything, then it is going to be acceptable, because byte C is acceptable. Okay, but again, if you add next thing, then it won't allow byte again. Okay, whenever you have the same arguments or parameters, you can have the different. Otherwise, suppose if I have int is there, okay, suppose assume that I am having int a, okay, but int b I have, because these are already present. So when both are same, then what I will do? If I can use int c, then this is going to be valid, because your arguments are got changed. So when I'm calling this test one, directly it will ask the three arguments here. Say for example, when I'm asking this t1 dot add, right? T1 dot, that is T2. This is T1 only, right? Test one. Okay, for test is T2. Okay, T2, right? For this T2 dot add. When I'm using this, see the moment when I use here, you got the three variables here, three parameters, right?
Yes,
So you can able
yes.
to use the same values. If I'll use this, then it will consider these parameters and it will give you the output. Okay. So similarly, this also 30. So this is nothing but a method of overloading. So when you have the same arguments, different parameters. Method signature means you should have the same method name and arguments also should be different. So that is what we are going to discuss about that method signature. Okay. So this is a method of overloading, and we have the method of overriding, right? Say what is meant by method of overriding? Okay, so I will do one thing. See, this method of overloading always taken care by, who is going to taken care by this method of overloading?
The compiler.
Compiler, yes. So compiler will take the responsibility here. Okay. We can say this one early bind, early binding, or compile time polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism or overloading. Overloading always taken care by the compiler. Okay. Similarly, overriding is nothing but runtime polymorphism. So that is nothing but runtime polymorphism or late binding. We can consider it as a late binding or overriding. What is the purpose of overriding? Say, for example, whenever we have we have parent and child relation, right? Parent and child relation, right? So because basically parent wants to study the child as a computer science engineering, assume computer science, but child does not want to interest computer science. He wants to go with mechanical engineering or civil engineering, any other electronics communications, other branches. So he is going to interest on that branches rather than the computer science. So in such cases, what this guy will do, he will simply override it. Okay, he will use the override and he will use their own method, because when he is not satisfying the parent class methods, then they can uh, do their own changes. Okay, so like that we can able to update. So mm, so if you can go with this, right? Say here where we have. Okay, so here let's see now. Here I have one class parent. Okay, so class parent I have. Then here I have public void. I have one gold method. Okay, system dot out dot println. Okay, this is gold method. Okay. So again, here the concept came into the picture, inheritance concept. We will get that concept also here. Okay. Let's see how that is going to be incorporated here. Okay. So this is the one method. Similarly, I have one education method is there. Assume that here we have EDUCA education and this parent interested in CSE, computer science engineering. Okay. So now I have one more class called as a child. Okay, child I have. So this child is having the gold. These two methods automatically they will get right by default. So I don't want to, initially I will make a comment. So here I have the silver. Silver method. Okay. So now my intention is I don't want, currently I will make this as a comment. See now for child, how many methods are going to be get if I extend this? Suppose if I want to get both the methods for child, what I need to do?
The extent play parent class.
Yeah, we have to extend, right? Ex extends parent. Now,
Parent.
how many methods are going to be get gold and education? By default,
Golden education.
it
Yeah.
applicable for the child, right?
Yes.
So now what I have to do? I will have to create an object for this child, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how to create this? Now here child C1 is equal to new child. Okay, why we are not getting? We have child method, right? Okay, see, now if I run this program, C1 dot, see, we have a education method, right? C1 dot gold, right?
Yes.
Now C1 dot silver, this is this method. So now if I'll run this, I will execute the methods, right? I will get the output of which all other methods are available. See, now if I'll execute this, see, interested in CSE, this is gold method, this is silver method, right? But
Yes, sir.
as a child, he doesn't want to go with computer science engineering, but he wants to go with another branch. So in such case, what I will have to do, see here we have the education, right? So here I can override this method. So at the rate override. Okay, that means what is going to happen? Now if I call this as a mechanical engineering. Okay, so now if I call this education method, whether it is going to get this option or this option. Now I have created, right here, we already called C1 dot education, right? We have called C1 dot education right here.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So now if I run this, whether it is going to execute this interested CSE or mechanical engineering.
Mechanical engineering it looks.
Mechanical engineering, because this is a overridden method. Okay, from the parent class. See, this overrides parent dot education. That means that we are overriding. Okay, see this one.
Yeah.
Okay, similarly, whichever the methods, if he is not satisfied, then he can do their own. They can change the methods. Okay. If I am not going to override, then we can't able to call this. Okay. It will print this one only. Okay. Parent class methods. Okay. So this is just a overridden method. Okay. See now if I'll use this one. Control V. Similarly, even silver, gold also, if he is not satisfied with gold, and if child is going to satisfied with this thing, then he can go with gold. But at the same time, whenever you do overriding, this return type and these arguments must be the same. Okay. See now,
Okay.
suppose even if we have this education, suppose if I make some arguments here, then immediately compiler will throw error message. See this one. This method education of a type child must override or implement a super type. That means whenever if you go with overriding concept, this return type, method name, and parameters must be the same. Then only you can able to override it. Otherwise, you can't able to override. Okay, you got it right.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
See, whereas in the method overloading, what happens? These arguments are going to be deferred, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
But when it comes to
argument.
when it comes to the overriding, method name and arguments and return type, these three must be the same. It has to be coincide with respect to the parent class. Suppose if parent class is having the void, then here also must be void. But suppose in parent class, if he is having any another, then it has to be same here also. Those, okay. So those written types must be the same. So just have to be keep remember that. Okay. So all must be the same. Okay. So just remember that. And similarly, that's why here it is showing the in thing. Okay. So education. Okay. This is nothing but a overriding concept. Whenever if you go with overriding, you will have to be observe whether method name or arguments and return type, whether these three are coincide with the parent class or not. If it is not coincide, then you can't able to use the overriding method. You got it right. Say for example, even suppose if I use here as int, then here it won't be, you can't able to override. Okay, but at the same time the same return type arguments you have to pass here also, then only it is going to be applicable. Okay, so if you are not having the same, then you can't able to do the overriding. Okay, so what we have here in this overriding, method name, arguments, then
Return type.
return type. These three must be same in terms of overriding. Whereas in overloading, method name, okay, method name is same, but you can have the different arguments. Okay, different arguments. Then only it is going to be allowed. And return type it may not be considered. Okay, so only method name is the main criteria, and you have to be different arguments. So if you have the same arguments and same method name, then overloading can't be accepted. Overloading, this is nothing but a overloading. Okay, and this is always compile time polymorphism, and this is nothing but a runtime polymorphism, and this is nothing but early binding, and this is late binding, and runtime polymorphism are overriding. So either way we can able to notation we can call it anyway. Okay, or early late binding or runtime polymorphism. Runtime polymorphism. Either way, we can able to call this overloading also early binding or compile time polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism. Okay, so these all are the basic differences between overloading and overriding, and this is a concept called under polymorphism. Okay, polymorphism. Okay, so this is a concept called under polymorphism. Are you clear this?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So now we have so the same thing only. Now this is one concept which is left in that object-oriented concept, and we have encapsulation also. Encapsulation, we can have the binding of properties and methods. Both we can club together, so we can call it as a encapsulation method. that when we are discussing about the constructor, right, that time I will add that as well, so that you will have more
Okay.
clarity on that.
Okay.
Okay.
So encapsulation topic will come while we are learning the constructor.
Constructor, yes, yes, no, that is
Okay.
also same, only when we have the properties and methods, right? So what is meant by encapsulation? It is a binding up of methods and properties. Say for example, uh, see, now we are having one class here, right? Say here I have one int a, string name is there, string name. Then we have string, or I have int id. Okay, so then I have int sal. So these all are the different parameters are there. This is the properties. Okay, similarly, if we can consider as a human or employee or a student, then they may have their own properties, right? So those properties, and when we have the methods also, we can bind together and we can work that. Okay, that we will see on the concept of constructor. So I will explain
Okay.
clearly that one. Okay. Okay, I think so. With this, I think we have completed this, and we'll discuss about constructor and that which one encapsulation.
Encapsulation.
Yeah, go together. We'll discuss on the same. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So now, do you have another half an hour time, so that I will have
Yes.
one concept I will explain you. So this after this meeting, you can connect on the same line. I will ping you. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Okay. I think this
Okay.
is going to be end. So that's why you can join after 1 minute. Huh?
Okay.